Happy Monday, friends. Happy Monday. It is Lisa at Hand Stamped with Lisa. Welcome, welcome. Simple Stamping Monday. I've got a really cute project for you today that came about because I was doing another project and I had all these leftovers on my table. Do you ever have that happen where my hat's crooked. I'll be creating and I'll have like all of these pieces left and I'm like, I should do something with those pieces. So that's how we got today's card. It's very simple because all the work was done on the other card. So welcome. It is June, my friends. It is June. My peonies are popping. I am so excited. This is my very favorite time of the year when it comes to gardening. Super excited. So my peonies are popping. I'm excited about that. The garden's looking really, really good. June is going to be busy, and I may be the only Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming on live today because everyone's on a cruise. Everyone's on an Alaskan cruise, but I didn't get back into the gig until this year. So it was pretty hard to earn a cruise when I wasn't really doing a whole lot. But who knows? Who knows? There may be cruises in my future. Wouldn't that be fun? I would love it. Love it. It's so good hanging out with your people. So good. So it is June. So there is a new product of the month. And so remember, when you spend $75 in the online store, you can choose the product of the month for $5. And it is a really, really darling stamp set with baby animals, but they're cool baby animals. They're not like soft, cuddly baby animals. They're kind of fun. They're kind of funky. So that's a really, really fun set for you. And then the other thing is that it is the beginning of sign up for my monthly card class. So my monthly card class is the Pretty Paper Party, and it always highlights a particular set of designer series paper. You get a full pack of paper, you get ribbon, and you get an embellishment, and then you get 6 cards, cut, prepped, full color PDF, all the things. So that sign up has started today, and you're actually going to get a little sneaky peeky of what we're using for that. So this month, I did the math. So it is, well, let me show you what we're using. Let me turn the camera around. Let me show you what we're using. All right. So our paper for the month, for the Pretty Paper Party, we are using the Velvet Meadows. So remember, this cardstock has the velveteen on it, and it is so beautiful. Let me take it out of here so you can see it a little bit better. All right, so on one side, you have just a really pretty image, but when you flip it over, all of that white is a raised, felted, like velveteen feel. So really beautiful papers. I mean, look at how beautiful. And our card today is actually going to use these papers. This is so, so pretty. And then you've got big sheets. I mean, so beautiful. And again, what I like is the backside has this just like really light little pattern on it. So it works really great. These are so fun. If you've not worked with this designer series paper that has an image, it's really great because you can cut and make a really cute card with that. So this is the paper that we're going to be using for my card kits for this month. So it is, I mean, look at this. That is so pretty, and then you can feel it's just, oh, so pretty, so pretty. So it is a package of paper. The package of paper is $17. It is a roll of berry burst ribbon, and then a package of the garden epoxy embellishments. And so really, really great. And we are charging, where is my note? We are charging $42 for all of that product, plus 6 cards cut and prepped for you, and a full color PDF. So you have from now until June 10th to order that. And so you from now to June 10th to order that. So if you would like the link to that, you can just put Pretty Paper Party in the comments below, and I will make sure you get that. Otherwise, you will find it in my newsletter that's going out tomorrow. So that's what you got. We are using, along with that, the Flowering Meadows bundle. So the Flowering Meadows bundle, it's kind of interesting because this little suite is not available as a suite because one of the embellishments is not available, but the stamp set's available, the paper's available, everything else is available, and the dies. So that is what we're going to be using, and I'm super excited about it. So we have that for you today. Let me show you the card that kind of created the simple card. This first card, she's not simple. She's not simple, but I was playing around with what I wanted to do for for my card club. And so this is what we came up with here. And so this is one of the cards that I'm playing around with. Let me get rid of that little guy up there. Okay, so this is one of the cards that I was playing around with as I was creating. And so what this is it is strips of designer series paper, and then I used the small arches to cut out an arch in the middle of it. And then we had some flowers we stamped and die cut, a little greeting, and then some cloud cover ribbon. So this was one that I was playing around with. But what happened is when I created this card, I ended up with this. I ended up with this arches, and it has all of those pretty designer series paper on there. And I'm like, clearly we need to use this. And so I feel like using scraps that you have on your table, that is the creme de la creme of, simple cards, right? Like the work is already done. We're just grabbing it and using it in a little bit different way. So let me show you what else we've got here. So again, we are using the Flowering Meadows stamp set and die cuts. And so with that in mind, there it is. I'm like, where did I put that stamp set? So let me show you what that looks like too, so you can kind of see what we're working with here. Make you seasick. So this is the Flowering Meadows stamp set. So it's got really great stems, leaves, and then it's got the flowers, it's got the middles of the flowers, and then it's got really good fonts. And then the coordinating dies make it all really, really simple. So you can make the sweetest little cards with this. I'm a little obsessed. So we went ahead, I had that, and then the other thing I had when I was creating that card is I had a flower. Let me get you down a little bit lower here. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so I've got my little flower there, and then I had a stem, and I had a couple of leaves here. So I had all of those already done. And so I was like, oh, well, this is going to come together lickety-split then for our simple stamping. So remember, we started with this as the, like, what I was making, and these were the leftovers on the table. So I was like, we can make something work. So I'm going to do something that I'm like, what am I thinking? But we're going to take this really beautiful paper. We're going to put it face down. I know it breaks my heart almost to not use this as the focal point, but I think that this she's a little busy. She's a little busy. And this is so perfect because do you see how beautifully those colors pick up? So that is what we're going to go with. So we've got this, and we've got our card base. So our card base is just going to be our basic white 5.5 by 8.5. This is a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 of our designer series paper. We'll just, like I said, I'll take a moment that we're turning that guy over. This is just the leftover cutout of that card that I made, and then a couple of those little scraps. I stamped this in, let me check my Bubble Bath, Berry Burst, and then the leaves and such are in Peaceful Pine, which we pulled right from those colors of the designer series paper. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to create a greeting for this. And so let's put these little pretty pieces over here. All right, and I am going to use Berry Burst. I always get a little anxious about Berry Burst because she likes to bleed a little bit, doesn't she? I mean, if you've ever worked with it, you're like, yep, she sure does. She's a stinker. So you kind of have to stamp it and then let it sit for a minute just to be on the safe side. So we're just going to go ahead and stamp that. And I'm going to set that aside for a minute while we put the rest of or start to put the card together, because I think we just need to let that have a moment to itself, right? So we're going to come in here. We're just going to go ahead and fold our piece of basic white. Grab my bone folder, make it a little bit easier. So we've got that. We've got this piece of designer series paper that we're just going to sit here. And then we know that this beautiful piece that we cut out, that is going to sit right there. I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon to this. And I had a ton of cloud cover ribbon laying around. And obviously it matches perfectly. So I was just like, I'm just going to use that. I don't even know if it's still available, but I was like, it matches my project. And you know what? When you're stamping for yourself, you don't have to worry about what's new, like, is it available? Is it not available? Berry Burst would also be beautiful. A white ribbon, Peaceful Pine, all of those are going to be really, really pretty. I don't think you can go wrong with which of those colors. I think we also have like Bubble Bath. I have a bunch of Bubble Bath that was that really thin ribbon. So that would be really good too. One of the things I always love, if I'm creating a card that I want to have just be, you know, that little bit more special, have it have a little bit more of a pop, I always think going with a nice big ribbon, that to me just feels very opulent, right? It feels very special that you've got this big, bold ribbon on there as opposed to just like a little knot. Just gives a different vibe to it. So we're going to have that, and I am going to go, we'll turn that over. Again, we're just going to pretend that that is blank on the back. We're not going to feel bad about it at all. So I was saying earlier when I got on here that my peonies are going crazy. I'm so excited. I actually have a yellow peony this year. It is so beautiful. My husband said it looks like a big fried egg, which I was not happy about that at all, but very excited. And this paper reminds me so much of my pink peonies that I have. I love. For those of you who garden, you know that this is just a sweet, sweet time of the year. So we're just going to put that right on there, and then this is going to sit right up here. And I think I'm just going to scoot that over just a wee bit. There we go. Sometimes if I just turn it a little, give myself a little bit more room. There we go. So we're going to put that ribbon there. I might just snag that a little bit shorter so it doesn't get in the way of all the prettiness. Perfect. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to put dimensionals on this one as well and pop that up. So yeah, so there's a lot of fun new stuff going on. It's start of a new month. Always exciting times to be in the know of all the things that are going on. So I'm working on my pretty paper party for you guys, and then stay tuned because I am going to be part of a Christmas in July offering. And I'm very excited about that. That's going to be a craft along, very, very similar to how we did the Silly Old Bear. It's going to be a bunch of projects. At least I think that's how we're going to do it. A bunch of really great projects done by several other demonstrators and myself, which is just so fun to create with other people. I love to see like how they create and what they think and how they plan things. And you know me, I like things pretty simple. I like a good fold. I like a good fold. And then I like to just let the prettiness of the artwork do the work. So it's fun to see, and you get something a little bit different always when you work with other people. So I'm very excited about that. So we've got this really beautiful flower, and I'm just using my glue dots to put it together. I found that this is just the least messy way to do it. So with these leaves, I'm just putting them right on the bottom here, just like that. So we are also in the middle of planning our summer vacations. I am going to be gone, I think, almost all of July. My husband's family has a house in Lake of the Ozarks, so I'm super excited about that. That's always just a very fun time, very, very chill lake time. And then I have a girlfriend who has a house in Minocqua. So it's very nice to know people who have vacation homes, right? And so I'm going to go up there for about a week as well, and then we'll have family here. So I'm like, I guess June is the month to get some stuff done, right? All right, so we put our little pretty flower together, and now we're going to come back to that greeting that we did, and I am just going to use my 1 3/4 punch. All right, and we're just going to go ahead, and I'm going to punch it. If you see, I'm punching it way to the side, and I might, yeah, I think I'm going to go right over there. All right, it just gives me a little bit more leeway when I'm playing with this flower here. So I'm going to put that flower on there just like that. And so I needed a little bit more room. And so sometimes if you know how you're going to be stamping something or how positioning it, it just helps create a little bit more space there. So we'll go ahead and put our dimensionals on the back of that piece. Just going to go ahead and stick it right on there. So that is going to be our focal point. And then this is going to pop right on here. And so I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of that guy too. So that is our super simple stamping for the day using pieces that were created for something else. So just really focusing on those pieces that you know, when you're creating something, you're like, I don't really know all that I'm going to want. So I'm going to, you know, create a little bit more, a little bit extra. And so that is what I did. And then we're just going to use those and have some fun. I had these sitting on my desk. They're the shimmering dots. And I really like these white ones with this particular design and set of paper. I just think it adds a little something without being overwhelming. And so I think that that is just really, really pretty. And so we're just going to go ahead and add those in. And so you can see that. Can you see those little, very, very subtle, so pretty. And that is our card. So we've got this card made from the leftovers of this card. So both really pretty. But like I said, sometimes it's just the things that you have laying or sitting on your design table that you're like, well, I can repurpose those. I can make those work something else, and it becomes a very simple stamping card. So that is what I have for you guys today. Oh gosh, I'm going to make you seasick. So those are our projects today. And again, this is the paper that we're going to be using for our pretty paper party. So for this class, it's $42. You get a full package of paper, which is $17 in and of itself. A spool of ribbon, the garden epoxy dots, 6 cards, all cut and prepped for you, full color PDF. And so you can just write pretty paper party in the comments below. I will make sure and get you that, or it will be in my newsletter tomorrow. So you can sign up for that. Sign up is through the 10th of the month, and then we ship them out on the 20th. Super fun. They're so fun. I love some good paper, and I love cards that really make the most of it. So thank you for joining me today, you guys. We will be here tomorrow for Craft and Chat. I've got a really fun, exciting project for you tomorrow as well. You know, I like me a fancy fold, so we're going to do something really fun. So I hope that you have a really great start to your week, and that you have a little bit of time to sit in your craft room and spend some time crafting and creating. You know, it's fun to do it. It's fun to give cards, but there's just something about giving yourself the time and the space where you're not online, you're not bombarded by other things, and you just get to sit and think about what you want to do. Maybe you're watching Netflix or listening to a podcast or something like that, but there's just something nice about carving that time out for yourself. I think it's really reinvigorating and rejuvenating for me, at least. So I hope it is for you as well. And so I appreciate you guys being here. Make it a great one.